Now you found yourself in Ohio.
No, I found
Day
myself in Ohio.
2, struggling.
Yeah.
Well, I wouldn't say struggling. You guys killed one this morning.
We killed 3 today.
Killed 3 today.
You killed 3 today?
Yeah, we killed 3
I didn't know this. Okay.
We killed the skipper back there got one, which
Okay.
you'll have to ask him about when he comes
Did you kill
on
one
later.
today?
I killed one just before noon. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. What is up, guys? Welcome back to the WildTine Talk Show. I'm your host tonight, Joey Pavlovich, and we're going to go around the table, and we got our first guest tonight. But to my right is
Gavin Gray.
and across,
Shea McTighe.
Hunter Wallis.
and to my left.
Drake Honigman.
Tonight, we got Hunter and Shea. Our usuals, Gavin and Drake. We're going to be talking turkey hunting. We're going to be talking state to state, rogue hunts, everything about it, camera-wise. Shea has been running camera for Hunter the past couple weeks, and we're going to get into it. So let's start off with you, Hunter. Give us a little background on where you're from, what you do, and then you can continue into how the spring is going for you.
Yeah, man. I'm from PA. And kind of got into the, hunting industry per se. In turkey calling contests, started calling turkey calling contests when I was a young kid. Met Josh Grossenbacher, Doo-Doo, obviously we all know here. And he kind of got me started calling in some bigger contests, won some contests, and it's just kind of ran me down this road I'm headed toward now. Started the rogue hunts thing. Been doing that for the past 2 springs, just mostly spring turkey hunting. I'd like to bring it into big game and waterfowl and the whole 9 yards here pretty soon. But, yeah, that's pretty much where we're at now.
Rogue Hunts, your social media page?
Yeah, rogue hunts.
Yeah,
Yeah,
explain that a
YouTube.
little bit better. What is rogue hunts for you?
Man, right now it's just a turkey hunting show that's just supposed to be as raw and as real as possible. You know, we hunt the whole spring. We start around the end of March and we take it all the way to the first couple days of June and just bang it out, man. Kill as many turkeys as possible, get as much footage as possible, and just have fun with it. Just, doing what we do in the springtime.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Sounds
And-
like a good time.
If I'm right about this, it was the intermediate division.
I won in the nationals. I've won 4 junior titles.
Okay.
3 junior titles, 4 intermediate titles, and then I won that air friction deal 2 times too. I won a couple junior worlds and stuff too. I won the U.S. Open, but the U.S. Open was like the senior division, and still
Heck yeah,
calling,
man.
still trying to get a senior win under
Heck
my
yeah,
belt.
man. That's awesome. I've been there the last 2 years to experience it. It's definitely a tight competition, tough competition. A lot of good callers out there. But to even be considered in that, topic of, making the top 12 or, doing that 2 years,
Yeah.
3 years now?
I've been, I can't even remember how
seniors.
many years I've been in the seniors. I'd say I'm 26 now, and I missed 1 year. So I've been doing it for, 5 years, and I've won, or I've at least made it to the finals every year, which is the biggest thing in my eyes. I mean,
Yep. That's a great accomplishment.
Yeah.
So is the Nationals in Nashville every year?
yeah, it's at the NWTF convention down
Yeah.
there. Yeah,
That's what I was thinking. What's it like hopping into like one of those, like preparing for it?
Well, my dad's sitting back here. He'll say that I don't do any preparing at all, but it's
It's like riding a bike. You just
I guess, man, you just got to kind of go with it. I mean, there's guys out there that are way more dedicated than I am. They practice every day, but I practice. I don't know. I try to practice half an hour, 40 minutes a day, at least a month beforehand. I should be doing a lot more, but it's just you got to practice. That's pretty much the main thing. I mean,
Yeah.
if you want to be successful at it.
So, like, leading up to the Nashville Nationals, how many competitions roughly are there?
Man, there used to be a lot more. Like when I was a kid, they had them all over the place. Ohio, New York, they had them everywhere. Now they've kind of really dwindled back. They'll have 1 or 2. But to be honest with you, the last couple of years, the only one I've called in is Nationals. I mean,
really?
you have to qualify.
Gotcha.
Like, if you were to just get into it, like, say if you were to just call,
Yeah.
you have to qualify by winning an NWTF sanctioned contest, and then you're qualified. If you win it, you're qualified for the Nationals.
Okay.
So
Gotcha.
that's kind of how you at least make your way to it.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Do you have like a special like cut for calls that you like for say like
Your go-to.
purring,
Yeah, dude.
cutting?
Yeah, bat wing all the way. That's
Gotcha.
literally all I run. I mean,
Nice.
just straight up bat wings. Some different, like variations in material, thickness, and stretch, but just as far as hunting,
Yeah.
contest calling, everything, bat wings, that's all I run pretty much.
Yeah, I was curious about that.
Cool to know.
Yeah.
And so go into a little bit about this season. I know you guys started off in Florida, correct?
Yep.
You killed bird there.
Yeah. We had some really good hunting in Florida. I think we killed 4 on video down there, so it was a good couple days hunting.
Heck yeah. There and then Georgia, Alabama.
Yeah, Georgia.
Take me through that.
Georgia was pretty good. We were expecting it to be a little bit better, to be honest with you, but I think we ended up. I killed 2, and our buddy killed 1. So it was a good trip. And then Alabama, man, was kind of a stinker. We ended up killing 1 down there, which was a good hunt, but we ran into some crappy weather, had some schedule mishaps that kind of got backwards on us. But we lost 2 or 3 days to weather, and that just is what it is. You're going to have that in this racket. And, yeah, it's been good so far. From there, we went to North Carolina and did the Strut Masters thing with our buddy Nate Hosey. And that was good, man. We stayed a couple extra days and hunted down there, and that was probably our best trip so far. We
pictures look great.
Good. Yeah.
Pictures look phenomenal.
It was awesome, dude. It was really good.
I think Shea filmed all those hunts.
Yeah, he filmed all of them.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think we
Knocked it out of
killed
the park.
6. We killed 6, 3 days, or what was it? 5 and 3 days?
We killed 2. Well, we killed 2 on that Saturday, and then we killed 1 the next day, and then 3.
In the one day.
So
Too
I'm not a
many to
math
keep
guy.
track
But
So down in Florida, those are Osceolas, right?
yeah, Osceolas.
And
yeah.
that's, you guys were hunting those down there. That's like, comparing them to the Eastern, because like, I know Joey's got a little bit kind of more to know about the different turkeys out there, but
He's
me
a
and
little
Drake.
more mobile.
I haven't been on an Osceola hunt though.
Yeah, like
Ah,
compare them
buddy.
to an Eastern for us, because that's what we're most familiar with.
Man, they're pretty similar. The only real difference is, and I think it has a lot to do with the terrain kind of, because, I mean, even when you're like in the woods per se, the woods are just, so
Is it swampy?
slow almost. Yeah, there's a lot of swamps and stuff, but a lot of it's pasture and like palmettos. And
Gotcha.
like I said, the woods are live oaks, so they're no taller than this building. So there's no real, you got Eastern and the hardwoods, they freaking boom, goblin, and echo.
Yeah.
These Osceolas are like muffled, man. Like if you hear one, then
They're
you think
close.
he's 150, or you think he's 300, he's probably 100 or
Really?
150. Like they have a real muffled gobble, but they are freaking aggressive little suckers, man. Like they see a decoy or another gobbler or something, they will run in. They're like chickens. They're just,
Really?
yeah.
Not lazy, huh?
No, not at all, not at all. And they move down there, man. But they're really fun to chase. It's cool. Just Florida's just such a different environment to hunt turkeys. You know what I mean? It's wild. It's like hunting turkeys on Mars. It's just crazy.
Yeah.
Are you hunting public or is it more like connections?
No, I got a buddy down there that runs an outfitting business. It's called
Gotcha.
Florida Backwoods, and it's a great place, man. It's really cool.
Nice.
So,
Gotcha.
So you got some connections down there.
yeah, I got a bunch of buddies. Been hunting down there since I was, like 10 years old. So yeah,
Cool.
it's a neat place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sounds like it.
Now you found yourself in Ohio.
Now I found
Day
myself in
two, struggling.
Yeah.
Well, I wouldn't say struggling. You guys killed 1 this morning.
We killed 3 today.
Killed 3 today.
You killed 3 today?
Yeah, we killed 3
I didn't know this. Okay.
We killed the skipper back there got one, which
Okay.
you'll have to ask him about when he
Did
comes
you kill
on
one
later.
today?
I killed one just before noon. Yeah.
Okay,
And then
yeah.
Tate
That
killed
was-
one like 9 o'clock, I'd say. So
Nice.
yeah, it was a good
Heck
one.
yeah. Heck yeah.
Yeah, it was a good one.
So I guess take us into a hunt that's most, I guess, Ohio or Kentucky. I've heard a little bit about your Kentucky hunt. What's the freshest in your mind? I mean, Ohio's the freshest in your mind, but walk us through what happened today, I guess. You struck one up at noon, and he was
We
ready to
had
play?
yeah, for the one I killed anyway. Like I said, this morning we had a really pretty cool hunt.
Yeah.
And then we had another good hunt, not as cool as the first hunt, but you'll have to ask the
Yeah,
special
we'll get-
guest at the
okay.
end about that one. And then we cruised around, man, tried a couple spots and really actually we had one turkey going, then we went to a different spot and struck one up, and it was kind of open, and I didn't feel like we could have a bunch of guys, so me and Shea just dove in there after him and ended up calling 3 longbeards up like 30 yards. Found a match set of sheds
Found a
on the
shed.
way in there. Match set, yeah.
Dang, I'm jealous.
And cracked him, dude. It was a cool hunt. Just
Heck yeah.
good old call up and kill.
How far was he?
Like 30 yards.
30
There was,
yards.
Yeah, 3 longbeards coming gobbling good. It was
Okay.
cool, man. It was a good hunt.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Yeah, it was fun.
We can jump to the next question I got. Why turkeys, I guess?
I don't
That's
know.
that's a
man.
loaded one.
You shot some good whitetails, right?
I've shot some decent whitetails, nothing like these guys. But I've shot some, I've shot some decent whitetails. I mean, truthfully, as far as like,
It's what you know. I mean,
yeah,
yeah.
I mean, as far as my favorite, I would say like as far as my favorite thing to chase, it would be turkeys, just
Yeah.
because. I mean, I kind of cut my teeth doing it, man. Just so many positive experiences thinking about when I was just a young kid. The first thing that pops in my mind is turkeys. Now, truthfully, like, as far as what I'd rather shoot is a big deer by far. It's more rewarding, obviously. I mean, we've all been there. But as far as just chasing them, man, there's just something about turkeys. I guess it's just the the interaction, getting to talk to them. It's
Do you
cool
think
stuff.
being from Pennsylvania has anything to do with that?
Probably,
little bit?
probably, yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, I would say that the turkey hunting heritage is pretty deep there, and
Yeah.
deer hunting is as well.
Yeah.
But I was lucky to have a lot of good friends in turkey hunting. My dad obviously got me started as a young kid, and like I said, man, it's just it was always a big deal. Which is, I think a lot of kids in hunting nowadays kind of almost have it too easy. For me, it was just. When I think back, there was a struggle for so many years just between missing turkeys and getting them in range, and that's kind of what lit the fire, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Struggling a little bit.
Yeah,
So.
literally. So, yeah, that's
And
kinda where
then-
it started.
It feels so easy. You want to be any fun.
Yeah,
You gotta have a
I
challenge.
guess.
Gotta have a struggle.
It's nice when it's easy sometimes, but yeah, every once in a while, I guess a struggle is a good thing.
Yep.
So back to Pennsylvania from here, obviously.
Yeah.
Get to relax a bit there. You've been on the road for a while.
Yeah, we've been. I guess it'll be about a month,
Yeah.
pretty much.
March 23rd, we left.
Yeah. So.
How you feeling, Jay? Shay?
Good. I'm good. Told him today. I said it's hit me a little bit.
Good days and bad days. Yeah. I hear you. I hear you for sure.
But it's fun.
I don't
though.
know if I've ever been on the road for a month, but even after like 10 or 11 days, it's like,
Jeez, that take a toll on
Yeah,
you. That's for sure.
And it seems like when you start a trip on the wrong foot, it makes it even worse. Like
Yeah.
we started in, I think it's going all the way back to Alabama. We hunted a morning and then drove all the way to North Carolina. And I didn't realize that where we were hunting in Alabama to where we were in North Carolina was like 11 hours. So we didn't end up getting there till like 2 in the morning, and then we had to be up at 4. And just from then on, it's been every morning, 3:45. It's just been crazy. We drove through the night and hunted Kentucky the one day. So yeah, it's catching up on
pretty
some
cool.
sleep would be good.
yeah, it's never
Guys are
good
grinding.
starting a trip off tired or whatever it may be. But you guys are doing it.
Yeah, man.
It's fun stuff for sure. You'll look back on it and be glad you did. You know?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
But how about you, Shay? You're from Pennsylvania
Yeah,
as well.
yeah, I am. Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
Let's jump into about you a little bit.
Yeah, man. Basically, I've got into the videography stuff like about 2-3 years ago. I picked up a camera, started filming stuff for fun with my buddies. But as far as like the production stuff goes, last year I went up to Iowa and did the Midwest Whitetail internship.
Yep.
So ever since that, producing shows like I think I did 47 blogs for Caleb the day and had him out the day after.
Wow.
So after you do that so much, it's
Yep.
like doing
Yep.
this stuff, traveling like this. It's kind of like,
Yeah.
it was, November was pretty bad. This
Nice.
is pretty easy compared to that.
Heck yeah, dude. Yeah, I remember meeting you at the Harrisburg show.
Yep.
What was that, 2 years ago? Whatever the summer was before you went to do the Midwest Whitetail internship.
I think we talked about it a little bit too. I brought it up to
Yeah,
you.
you did. It's always something I've been interested in. I ended up taking a schooling down in Southern Ohio, and that's kind of how I got my jump start and connections and jobs and stuff like that. Some of them.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, Midwest Whitetail internship, that I've looked at your Instagram and followed along with you since I met you, and your stuff's looking great, dude.
Thank you, dude. I appreciate it.
Go into your setup a little bit,
Yeah.
if you don't mind.
Yeah, of course. So right now I'm running a Sony A7 S3, and I'm running a Tamron 35 to 150. So
Okay.
it's run and gun. It's easy. I can do my interviews on it as well.
Yep.
And then run and gun and still get enough. Like it zooms in enough. I'd like to have a 200, 70 200,
Yep.
but it's hard to do. Like I hated carrying both on me.
Yeah, it's tough.
Yeah.
You got to pick and choose. I have a 50 by 400. It's a little tight on interviews, but and there's a Tamron at 28 by 200, but it's a high f-stop.
So does it change when you zoom in and stuff?
It changes when you do.
Yeah.
Yep. But no, that's cool. Where was I going with that?
So Shay, like you're on the road for a month. How old are you?
23. I'll be 24 next month.
And you picked up a camera just when you were 20.
Yeah.
And now
So,
you're doing this.
Yeah, I did it, and it wasn't even like I wasn't learning like the settings, the frame rate, all that crap came with honestly Midwest Whitetail.
Yeah,
Before it was
really?
just for fun,
Really?
and then once I got down there, I was like, oh crap, like
Gotta get serious.
yeah, you can really do some cool stuff.
Have
with
you always
this.
been into hunting?
Yeah, I have.
Okay.
I've been in hunting since I was a little kid. I come from a family that doesn't hunt at all. My dad's never hunted. He's a big golfer. I call him
Really?
Country Club. He just golfs every day. So I would have never thought, got into it. My grandpa though was a big hunter, but not an archery hunter at all. So just kind of came by meeting people, good buddies that hunted, got me into it as well.
Heck yeah.
So yeah.
Sweet.
I know I was going to ask your audio setup. I've seen some pictures. K2M.
Yeah,
Or
yeah. With the hot
K3M?
shoot. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Look, I mean, sounds great. That's one thing I pay attention to a little bit more when I'm watching reels and stuff.
Yeah, I'm not running a wireless mic a ton just because there's so much going on.
Yeah.
I just like it. Sometimes it gets annoying to have on there, but that mic picks up a ton. It does very well for what I'm trying to do.
Cool.
With turkey's audio is pretty.
Yeah, I mean,
Vital,
that's super valuable.
It's convenient too. You can bump it up, especially if there's something gobbling way off. I can just bump it up real quick, right on the camera, and then turn it right down to do an interview.
Cool. What's your favorite state so far?
No. We've had cool hunts in every state. I'd say North Carolina. Florida was like the prettiest as far as like filming and pictures, but North Carolina was the coolest. Like we had some pretty.
We just had some
there was some
rad
badass
hunting
hunts.
there.
Yeah.
If the hunting wasn't so good, it probably wouldn't have been your favorite. The hunting was pretty damn good.
Yeah, it was pretty consistent there. It was a good time.
Nice. Hunter, with all the states you've been to.
Oh man, I would say if I had to, there's a bunch I like for a bunch of different reasons, but I would say if I had to pick one, it would probably be kind of the area I hunt in New York, just because, man, just growing up as a kid hunting there and stuff, I got so many good memories. It's some of the prettiest country I've ever been to. It's just, it's badass.
Where are you at in Pennsylvania? Are you up towards
Northeast corner?
Okay.
Yeah, not that far from New York. I mean,
Gotcha.
some spots, New York's only like 45 minutes, so it's not bad at all. Yeah.
Does it kind of like feel like home there?
It does.
Well, like New York, I'm saying.
Yeah, it does. Just like I said, man, because when I was a kid, and in PA we can't hunt on Sundays. When I was a kid, we'd go up and hunt New York on Sundays, and we still do. But, just those memories of going up there every Sunday and, getting after it was just enough to make me, I'd say it's probably my favorite place, man. When I think about turkey hunting, that's where it comes to mind. So.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Cool. We'll go back into hunting a little bit, and I have a question written down here. What would your advice be for a beginner? And we can actually ask this both ways, but whoever wants to go first.
Man, beginner as far as hunting, I guess.
As far as turkey hunting.
hunting.
Yeah, turkey hunting.
Man, that's kind of a broad question. I mean, luckily now with YouTube and stuff, there's obviously so much information out there that you can learn before you even put a gun in your hands and go out and do it. But man, I would say try to find somebody that you know to go with the first time, because no matter what you watch on YouTube and stuff, it's still not going to give you everything. I mean, as far as, just, the basic stuff, not moving or how to move on turkey, when to move, when to start calling. I mean, you can watch all that stuff, but until you actually go out there with somebody who kind of knows what they're doing, you got to, figure it out.
Yeah.
So,
Kind of have to live it.
yeah, exactly. You kind of have to be in the game to do it. So, I mean, especially if you're having a hard time, man, I think you just got to keep at it. Try to meet some folks that have done it for a while and go out with somebody. And, I mean, YouTube is a huge tool. I mean, for me, like, I'm just kind of getting into – the last couple of years I got into bass fishing big, and I've just been a YouTube freaking guru with it. And it's helped me out a ton. So, just like anything else, you watch videos on it, you kind of learn and figure it out. So.
And turkey hunting is a very vocal hunting, calling.
Absolutely.
So, like, if you're not hearing turkeys, get out of there.
Yeah.
I guess. Unless you've seen turkeys here before. But
Exactly. It's a catch-22. I mean, if you know there's turkeys there, you kind of got to give them a little bit of time. But if not, man, the way I hunt is quick and fast. And, if there's nothing going, we're going to the next one. But, I mean, as far as, like, what you're going to need, I would say a lot of guys get kind of tunnel visioned into having a whole bunch of calls. I mean, and it's good to have different calls, but, I would say pick out 3 mouth calls or something, a pot call and a box call. You don't even need that. I mean, you just a friction call and a couple mouth calls, and you're good to go as far as calling wise.
If you were to say the perfect way, well, actually, we skipped you, Shea. Advice for a beginner, my bad.
As far as like filming?
Yeah,
and
as far as
stuff goes?
filming, yeah.
Put it this way, I learned a lot from YouTube.
Yeah.
Too. Like I feel like I was calling it YouTube University for a little bit.
Oh yeah.
Because I was like sitting on there watching, whether it's Peter McKinnon, any of the videographers that I can learn from. But I'd say the first things first is start by, I don't know, just like filming with your phone. Even like filming with your phone is better than picking up just like an old handy cam and stuff like that. So like I've learned just like don't get too. I feel like a lot of people want to go out, buy like a cheap camera and just start filming it, and like just film with your phone if you're going to go spend money on like a cheaper one, unless you're going to spend the money for a really nice one.
If you have a new iPhone,
it's going to do just as good as almost like it's better than everything up to like $1,000 or more.
Yeah, I'll sometimes use my iPhone as a second angle, or I mean just filming like shed pickups and stuff like when we post those.
You can do a lot in iPhones. I can do 4K 60. You can put in an S-Log even. It's like everything. So there's a lot of opportunities with that. But I'd say just to start, if you're trying to get into it, start with your phone before you want to even buy like anything in the $2,000 camera. First, try with your phone.
Yeah. Are you shooting in an S-Log?
Yeah, I'm shooting everything in S-Log right now.
So you're coloring it Adobe?
Yeah,
Okay.
Adobe. And I have all kinds of cool LUTs and stuff, and it's just been it's fun to play with.
Yeah,
so.
it is. I haven't dove a ton into the color world, but I've it's just most of it correction.
Mm-hmm.
We try to film stuff and put it out fairly quick too. We kind of did a yearly, posting a year after with most of our whitetail stuff. If we shoot a turkey here soon, I'm gonna try to get it out fast. But yeah, it's definitely something I've been looking into playing with.
Yeah, it's definitely it's helped me get more creative. Like when I was out in Iowa and with Midwest Whitetail, it was very straight to the point. We didn't shoot in S-Log and stuff, and a lot of just little color corrections. But being able to do this stuff and just the raw, the way he wants his hunts and stuff, it's cool to just put them together, color them like that. It's a lot more. I can get more creative with it.
Yeah.
So.
Did you release the Florida Backwoods from this spring?
We did. The Backwoods one was the first one. That's
the only one out from this spring yet?
Yeah. We got another one coming that's probably gonna drop tomorrow, if I had to guess.
Sweet.
From Georgia that was this year, but the Florida one was the first one from this spring. We still got probably one from last year too. So
cool.
Yeah. That's a series for you for Rogue or no? Is it like
it's I wouldn't say a series. It's just that's just one of our regular videos that we put out.
Just a name on it.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Cool. If you were to pick a certain weather condition, I know it all depends on the turkey's mood, but like sun peeking through the clouds, sunny day, bluebird day. If you were to pick,
I would say if I had to pick about a high of 70, clear with no wind, high pressure. Now, like as far as like a really killing day where you find turkeys out in the field, I would say like first thing off the bat, rain, just like a light drizzle, and then cloudy, kind of misty all day long because they'll be out. You can find them.
Yeah.
You could just
bebop around and find them in the field.
Yeah,
so.
exactly. But as far as a pretty day, like if I had to pick one condition, it would just be bluebird.
Yeah.
About a high 70.
Enjoyable, nice weather.
Exactly. That's when the turkeys act good too, especially coming to a call. So
yeah.
Now, that's the first time I heard somebody say, "Do you think the pressure has something to do with the?"
I mean, I do. I think it has something to do with it. I mean, you can dive into crazy stuff, and people have all these theories and stuff. I mean, when it comes down to it, I'm kind of one of those guys, especially with turkeys. I mean, a turkey's a turkey. I don't think they're incredibly intelligent. I mean, what kind of a they're very keen. There's no doubt about it. Not that I'm trying to downplay them in any way, but I think springtime rolls around, the days get longer, and they just kind of do their thing, man. You get terrible weather, they're not going to do much, and you have fine weather, they're just going to do their thing. Now, I think like a rising pressure, a high pressure day, they probably do gobble a little bit more. But as far as coming to a call, man, just a nice weather day is probably the best thing you can get.
Cool. Take us through a little bit, like getting out of the truck, first things you're doing. I've hunted with you before. I know it's a very mobile game. But take us through like a getting out of the truck. What are you doing? Crow,
what time?
owl, out, or time, I guess.
Obviously it's all pretty situational. I mean, if you have one roosted, your tactics are going to be totally different. You might be sliding in there super early, just trying to get within 100 yards, or I would say as far as just a normal day where you don't have anything roosted, you're just kind of going into a spot and finding them. I'll get there. I'm not one of these guys that's just crazy really on getting there first thing. I mean, you got to be there, before they fly down, obviously. But I like to get there, listen. I always start out owl hooting, see if you can find them. It's just, like I said, so situational, man. I'll owl hoot first if I can find one. Always try. Obviously, I mean, one of the golden rules is try to get as close as you can without spooking them. I mean, that's just what it is. So I'll try to do that if I get one located. If not, I'll just kind of run and gun and start calling, start trying to get one struck up. If I get one struck up, like I said, I'll get as close as I can. And it all depends on terrain and stuff too, as far as setup or what's, as far as where I'm going to go. And then, if I could slip in on a turkey that's still on the limb gobbling, because this is kind of something that I think people ask a lot.
Yeah.
As far as like when to start calling.
Okay. Yep.
I'll start. I'm not one of these guys that's just ripping on them on the limb. Unless it's like a situation where you have one that's, maybe on a property line or you're scared he's going to go the other way. I'll give them a little bit more. But, man, a lot of times I don't start calling until they're on the ground. Maybe I'll hit them with one, like soft, tree call or something, just let them know I'm there. But until they get on the ground, I don't really start hammering it to them. And then, I'll give it to them pretty good. And then I think if you hammer them pretty good, give them 4 or 5 different, series of kind of excited to slow, quiet stuff again, then I'll kind of shut up for a little bit. And then you just kind of got to work them from there, man. I think soft stuff, something that gets looked past is like really good sounding soft stuff kills the hell out of turkeys. It's deadly. Super deadly.
If he's still on the limb, say where he's roosted, or you just get out and hoot or something, how close are you getting? As close as you can, yes, but like
that's a really good
where's
question.
that?
I would say that line is, I always, as far as setup, I always try to be, especially like here right now, man, with the woods as wide open as they are.
Vegetation.
Yeah, I try to be a little bit more. I mean, I would say like style-wise, I'm a very aggressive turkey hunter, but as far as setup, I like to be a little bit more conservative. Just because I hate spooking them. You know what I mean? I hate to. I'd rather not get them than spook them. So I would say that your sweet spot as far as sliding in on one and setting up is 100. I don't like to get any closer than maybe 100, 120.
Yep. Now with them being in the tree, obviously they're elevated and can see a lot farther than when they're on the ground. Are you throwing a decoy out or no decoys? Timber, field, does it matter?
Super situational.
Let's say it. Put it this way. What are you doing in the timber?
In the timber, I'm probably not using a decoy.
In the field?
I probably would, just because you need some type of visual. And if it's a wide open timber, there's another situation where you're probably going to need a decoy. As far as just trying to get them in. Now lately, man, I've just been rolling without decoys just because I think it's a little bit more fun. I enjoy having them coming and looking for you if I can. But again, if there is a situation where it's just too wide open, they need some type of visual to, come all the way to you without hanging up, then you just got to use it. I mean, that's just kind of what it is. So a field, man, most times I'll put it out.
Say, obviously it's pretty flat here where we're at in Ohio, but Kentucky was pretty steep. I know you've hunted some elevation. Are you getting above them, below them, same level? Ideally.
Rule of thumb, always you want to try to be above them if you can be. But there's a lot of situations where just wherever you strike them or whatever, you can't. Now, I mean, I'd like to side slope them sometimes too, if you could just kind of get on their level and bring them around a hill or something. But, I mean, a super deadly tactic is if you could, say you're down a little bit lower and a turkey's up on top where you can't see, if you could slide up to just where you can see that crest and get to that crest and just kind of set up there. And a lot of times, man, if I'm just hunting, I'll just stand up, and get ready standing up. And you could just call him because he has to come over and look down over that edge. So that's a super deadly setup. But, I mean, as far as the rule of thumb, as far as calling turkey up, you always want to try to be above them. Yeah.
Now, you've probably seen this. Are they flying up the hill?
Yeah, when
as far as like,
or when they pitch off.
So you're talking like right off the roost?
Yeah, right off the roost.
I mean, I think they do different stuff all the time.
Yeah, really,
it just all depends, man.
Yeah.
I've seen them on a slope. I've seen them just fly right into the bank. I've seen them fly way down into the bottom and then walk their way up. They do different stuff all the time. You know what I mean?
Every bird situation.
I think they, especially like you got that place. We were hunting Kentucky that's super hilly. There's a lot of finger ridges there and big, deep ravines and bottoms. And those turkeys will, a lot of times, I think, fly to, or as soon as they fly down, get up on one of those high points, especially if they're alone, because they could cast their gobble in every direction and try to call in every hen they can. You know what I mean? They just naturally, and it's a safer spot for them to be. They could see stuff coming for a while. If they have to pitch, they could pitch instead of having to, be in a bottom and, where are they going to go from there? So I think naturally they like to be on a higher point if they can be.
And I guess to rewind a little bit, say you're going in hill country, since we're on that topic, you're going to be on a top, correct?
Yeah. Usually.
Do you look at the topo and kind of see what drainages you can hear from that top?
Yeah, absolutely. I think
what does that
key.
Look like
on
a map, I guess?
I always look like, I mean, if you've ever been on like Spartan Forge or look at that type of mapping, they have super detailed where you can see every little nick and cranny. I always try, so like where we were in Kentucky, like I said, another great example, always try to, when you're listening, get to the highest point you absolutely can. You know what I mean? And it's deceiving sometimes because of those big drops and ravines. Sometimes you could hear like the turkey we ended up killing. I think now we had heard him off the roost and we thought he was in a totally different spot. It was just kind of the way his gobble is echoing through the valley. But yeah, when you're listening, man, you want to be as high as you can just to hear in every little hole you possibly could get your ears in.
But like as far as standing on a ridge, do you look for something that looks like a turkey foot, I guess, that where you can listen into 3 drainages or anything like that?
Yeah, I would say if you have something that's going to cover the most ground, always try to cover the most ground. You know what I mean? Unless the only time I would say where you're down low is if you have a turkey roosted and he's up high and he's pitching down to a field. That's the only time I would say to stay down low. But other than that, especially if you're hunting huge wooded areas, you want to be as high as you can and listen to just try to put yourself in the position that you think you're going to be able to hear as much as possible. Especially when obviously you're trying to find them. So.
Cool. You said you owl hoot at the beginning.
Yep.
I've hunted with you. I know crow call is always in your vest as well.
Yeah, I'll use a crow call a lot. I don't like to overblow crow call because I think it's just a little bit much, especially like when we were down there hunting that public stuff in Kentucky. I never blow because I think it's super popular and people are just blowing the crap out of it. So I like to use that a lot. But as far as locators, that's pretty much my only two. I'll owl hoot more than anything, obviously, right off the limb. Every once in a while, I'll owl hoot during, owls obviously will owl during the day. So, but yeah, I go back and forth between a crow and an owl. And then as far as just covering ground striking turkeys, man, I love a glass call. I'll use a glass call like crazy, especially in windy days, or there's not a day that I don't take out that glass call and try to strike. So that's a key for me. I always have that in my vest.
So rolling back a little bit, the night before, when you're going out to listen for birds on the roost, are you owl hooting that the night before?
Yeah,
or are you
I'll
just
owl hoot the night
listening,
before. So again, this place in Kentucky is just such a good representation of all
Yeah.
this.
Well, it's fresh in your head
Yeah,
too.
it is. Well, a lot of other places you get to drive around and see them. This place, if you see one, it's
timber.
Yeah, exactly. You're just not seeing them really.
Yeah.
So we would go out. I think the one night we went out and just kind of drove around for like an hour, and I would just hit that glass call from a high peak and just try to get. I'm just trying to get something to give me some type of.
Yeah, just in general
just
area.
anywhere. You know what I mean? Anywhere. I'd hit that glass call until it got pretty much totally dark, and I started owl hooting.
Gotcha.
So yeah.
Nice.
I always try to keep it when I'm locating. I always try to keep it as natural as possible, especially when you're hunting pressure turkeys.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So you want to try to keep it as real as you possibly can. So.
Gotcha.
One thing I've noticed around here, and this is a question I wanted to ask you guys. I don't know, like, from where you guys are at, but so we'll see, like, turkeys in blocks when we're hunting whitetails, like, in the winter, fall time. And it's, they're flocked up, it seems like. In the springtime, they split up, right?
Yep.
So their flocks will split up, and I feel like you're seeing them in the fields more. I don't know. I feel like you can pinpoint a turkey better in the spring than you can in the winter. So, like, when you're looking for, like, if you're hunting public or, like, new spots in your area, how are you, like, pinpointing turkeys? Are you walking the woods looking for sign? Are you –
That's again, super situational.
Or is it just, like, time being in the area?
I would say if you're hunting super, super wooded areas, your best way of scouting is getting out maybe 2 weeks before season and just listening. It's beneficial too to walk a ridge or something, or walk a bottom and see what kind of scratchings in there and just look for sign.
Yeah.
If you're not hunting super wooded areas, your best deal is just drive around and find them out. I mean, that's just a staple.
Because I feel like it's so hard to pinpoint, like, turkeys.
Yeah.
From, like, their winter ranges and
they
their
move, man.
spring ranges.
I think they move a lot more than people realize.
Kind of,
especially in the winter.
Well, I've heard like 10, 15 miles.
It's
It could be.
It varies.
10,
10, 15, I would say 15 to 20 is going to obviously be your max.
Yeah.
But I mean, they could go a long ways for sure. You'll see wintering flocks, of sometimes 200-300 turkeys, and obviously springtime comes, there'll be 2 or 3.
That's what I was
longer,
just trying to get at, because like deer hunting, you see turkeys all the time, and then it comes around spring and no turkey. You're not hunting turkeys where you're seeing them in the fall. At least my experience.
Yeah.
And it doesn't seem like they're in the areas that they are in the fall, at least from what I've experienced in the area.
A lot of times,
moving.
a lot of times they'll move out. Well, the fall, it's kind of like deer or anything really that you're hunting. In the fall, a lot of times they're there because of the food. They'll have a spot that's got beech nuts like crazy or whatever they're feeding on, so they'll all group up there. And then springtime rolls around.
Different food
I think a lot of turkeys that make it a couple of years, I do think they probably go back to the same spots in the springtime. Most times, maybe not always, but I think if you have a turkey that winters, maybe 2 miles over here, I'd say when springtime rolls around and he's in that block. I think probably every year he goes back to that block.
Gotcha.
More than likely.
I know this is a question Drake wanted to ask. Like, do you ever look at the hen to gobbler ratio, or
Oh yeah, what's a
it-
good one?
It's so different from deer. It's totally different from deer. You
'Cause-
want it as far as population in turkeys. You want to have as many hens as you possibly can, just because that's gonna ensure in the future that you have a better population.
Yeah.
It's just nothing like obviously deer have an easier time of reproducing. Turkeys don't.
Yeah, it's
there
tough.
could be springs where a hen doesn't have any poults at all. So you want there to be as many hens as possible. I mean, sometimes that's gonna make the hunting tougher, but there's always points or days or points in the day where you can find them and
Find
follow
them off
up.
that
Yeah,
hen, yeah.
exactly. So correlation as far as gobblers to hens, there's real no. That you want as many hens as you could get.
Gotcha.
Shooting hens is not a good thing by any means in the turkey world.
Because I know some people might think I don't know if they have a white tail attitude.
Yeah, I've
white-tail
heard people.
ratio.
I've heard people say that a lot, and sometimes I'm sure it does make the hunting a little bit tougher.
Yeah.
But as far as you want as many turkeys as possible and
Keep the
hence many
population
turkeys.
coming up.
So
Gotcha.
yeah.
Is that you're saying like back to the reproducing thing because of the amount of predators with like the
Yeah,
eggs and stuff?
yeah. You just, it's not like I said. It's not like they kind of do the deer thing to make. It's almost you want it 1-to-1 because your hunting's going to be better.
Yeah.
But for turkeys, you just want as many as you possibly can have around.
many turkeys.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nice. Hold on, we're gonna pause. I'll edit that out. We're getting to like 36 minutes. Where do we want to go with this, guys?
Wherever
You got
you want,
anything?
man.
Any other questions on there?
Let me whip one up real quick.
Oh, okay.
You want to get into like penis size or?
Bad one.
Oh, I know where it's gonna go.
Okay.
All right, we're diving back into the hunt. We've got off topic a little bit, but here in Ohio, you can only hunt till noon.
Mm-hmm.
Say in a state, a lot of states you can hunt all day. You can hunt till 1. You hunting all day?
Oh, absolutely. We'll go until we
He looked
can't.
at me in Kentucky and was like, "You're gonna hate me by the end of today." luckily, we killed one in the morning
Yeah.
and took a nap.
Literally.
Yeah.
Man, if we could do it and the weather's right, I'll go all day. Especially if we have only a few days or something. Yeah, I'll absolutely go all day.
What's your like favorite time of the day, roughly?
I would say
Not counting off the limb.
yeah.
I would say anywhere after 9:30 to noon is probably my favorite time. Even up into 1 o'clock. Just that time where they kind of have got off the hens.
Yeah.
They're kind of, in a sense, I almost think bored. They have like an hour or two to themselves where they're just kind of pecking around. Then they hear that first hen again.
Yeah.
They're driven out of their
Yeah.
freaking mind, man.
Yeah.
So that's probably my favorite time of day to chase them for sure. Yeah, and a lot of people there's a lot of times I think we get up at freaking 3:30 and we get out there before daylight, and then we don't end up killing them until 9:30. And it's
Yeah.
like, geez, a lot of days we
Let-
probably could have just slept in.
Let's sleep
not
until
even worried
8.
about it. Yeah. And sometimes, man, when we get tired, we'll just do that.
Yeah.
A lot of times we'll have the same success as we would if we went
You
out
just
early,
don't. You just don't
honestly.
hear them going crazy on the limb.
Exactly.
So how long, in your eyes, do you think a gobbler will stay with a hen? Like, because this morning I had a situation on a hunt where bird flew down, went to the hen, shut up, drove around, saw him strutting with the hen, and then we never fired him up later on that evening. So I don't know if or not later that evening, that morning. I don't know if he stayed with that hen the whole time or.
I think it all depends kind of on where he wants to follow her to. It's not like a buck that's locked down on a doe that they're just going to go everywhere together.
Yeah.
We had a situation in Kentucky the other day where we struck up a turkey and sat down, and he had a hen with him, and she got cranked up, and this hen just freaking come right in. 5 yards to us, and he stayed up on the ridge just gobbling at
He stayed
70
back.
yards. Yeah, he just stayed back gobbling 70 yards for an hour, and then he turned around and kind of walked off. And then that hen fed to our left, and she pecked around, fed around, then she started yelping again. He got fired up, and then they met back up again. So I think a lot of times they try to stay where they know they're within 100 or 200 yards of them.
Gotcha.
But they'll follow them around. I'd say as far as like kind of locked on the hens, they'll follow them around for the first 2-3 hours. Now sometimes they'll follow them around till noon. Who knows?
Yeah.
Or they could even be with them all day. It just kind of depends on where the hen goes or what the hen's doing. This time of year, most hens are going to start going to nest, a little bit later in the morning, and that's a great time to kill turkeys because they're off the hens obviously totally then. But yeah, I would say a general rule of thumb, they're definitely, if they are with a hen, they're going to stay with her for 2-3 hours.
Yeah, I've had situations too, hunting down in Virginia, walking into a block, birds with a hen, and I've actually kicked a different hen off. She flew up, busted her out of there. And after that gobbler left that hen that he was already with, I'm pretty sure he knew where that one that we busted off was, and we ended up working him right in. I think he knew where she was going to be already just off of past, history.
Absolutely.
Of that bird working with that hen.
Yeah, well, they kind of stay in their own little, this time of year they'll stay in their own little flocks per se.
Yeah.
And they almost know which hens are what. And I think that's why, like, early in the season sometimes you'll have turkeys that just come in screaming gobble into a call quick because they think it's a new one that's just, kind of come in there. They totally, you have some hens that have different voices, and I think totally they know, like they'll hear a hen that has a certain type of yelp, and they know which hen it is. Absolutely. I've seen that before where they totally know.
So kind of what you're talking about now, say you're using a set call and you call this bird in and something bad goes on, you bust this bird out. Next day you go in, are you using that same call? Are you switching it up just like you were saying that they might remember that?
I would probably try to switch it up. I don't know if they're quite that keen to know that they had a negative experience with that particular sound.
Okay.
Maybe they are. I don't really know. I mean, I would say just as far as the way I hunt, I probably would. Yeah, I'd probably try something different. Yeah. I think after a couple of days, they probably forget it.
Okay.
Maybe not.
We got a brain the size of a pea.
Yeah, exactly. Who knows?
But they are. I mean, they're like you said.
They've definitely got. They've got a lot going on upstairs, but at the same time, they don't have a lot going on upstairs. I mean, they could sit there and peck a piece of plastic for an hour straight. Yeah. So, but there's something.
Tell me if I'm right or wrong with this. Later on in the season, depending on hunting pressure, with more vegetation coming up, it could be easier for them to lose their hen faster.
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely.
Which I think is great. Season's a month.
Yeah.
If he's hung up for the first 2 weeks, right now in Ohio, you can see through the woods.
It's freaking wide open.
It's wide open.
It's tough. Right now is going to be the toughest part of the season, probably just for that fact. I mean, as far as moving on turkeys, unless there's some type of dip or something that they're in, forget it. I mean, you could see 200-300 yards in the woods right now. It's crazy. Yeah, vegetation is definitely helps as far as moving on turkeys. Sometimes as far as calling them up. I mean, you always want some type of, I don't want to say obstacle, because obstacles will hang up turkeys, whether it's a blowdown or a rock wall or something, but you almost want it where they have to keep looking, and keep coming to you to get to you. You know what I mean? If
they can't pinpoint.
Yeah, if they could see 200 yards, they've got they can't see, and they've got really no reason to come there.
Yeah.
Which is back to the basics again, but it's so true, man. I always try to set up, if I'm just calling to them with no decoy, I always try to set up where they have to either come around something or, it's just laid out perfectly where it's kind of, I don't want to say thick because that makes it tough too, but just, dense enough woods that they have to keep coming to me, looking to find me.
You mentioned terrain there a little bit. If you had to pick, it's hilly where you're at in Pennsylvania, correct?
Oh, yeah, super hilly.
If you were to pick, I mean, steep stuff or, just hilly terrain versus flat stuff, what are you going with?
Definitely hilly.
Yeah,
definitely
it's a little
hilly.
easier to get around.
Yeah,
and
it gives you a huge advantage as
So-
far as slipping around. I think it's just more fun. It's prettier. Just everything about it. Yeah. Terrain is a lot cooler to turkey hunt for sure.
Okay, I'll hit you with another quick one. Crow call or owl hooter? You got to pick one.
Owl hooter.
Owl hooter.
Definitely owl hooter.
I already asked your favorite state. Got a couple for Shea real quick.
Yeah.
Open field, autofocus, manual focus.
Manual. I run manual on it.
all the time.
I run it on everything.
I was trying to trick you.
Yeah. I like that one.
Are you freehanding or tripod? I was going to ask that too.
Well, situations like he was just talking about where we're just kind of like running, gunning.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes I'll just drop the tripod and just
Yeah.
start going.
Yeah.
If I have enough time to get it set up, I'll set it up. But realistically, like today,
sometimes you can't, dude. I'm so like, come on, let's go. Like,
Yeah.
we're just
like your kill today.
Yeah, absolutely. Like you didn't have a second to even get
No,
a tripod.
we were
going.
leave it behind.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
No, I hear what you're saying for sure. I filmed one last week in Missouri. It was on the tripod, actually. I was just resting on my knee. So you might as well call it freehand. The legs weren't out, but it looked good. I'm excited to see some more stuff from this spring. Photos look amazing, like I said.
Thanks, guys. Yeah.
But yeah, we're wrapping on 44 minutes. Jeff, you want to hop in real quick?
Yeah.
Jeff has a youth hunt in Pennsylvania, and he's going to talk a little bit about that really quick. can stop and start.
Are you there, Joey?
We're here, Jeff.
Hey, listen, thank you. I don't mean to kind of take over your podcast here. I'm kind of an invited guest, so I appreciate the time.
No, you're good. You're good.
Thank you.
We appreciate you coming.
Yeah, that's great, man.
Yeah, so tell us a little bit about Nancy's Vision.
Yeah. Yep. Nancy's Vision is a memorial youth turkey hunt. It's in memory of my wife, Nancy, Hunter's mom, Nancy. We started it, this will be the third year. We had an idea after Nancy passed away. She was a pediatric nurse, and she loved kids. That was a big part of her life. She had a lot of compassion, always looking to take care of others that had some issues. So Hunter came to me one day and he said, Dad, we ought to try to do something in her memory. And I said, that's a really great idea. And because turkey hunting and calling was a huge part of our lives, he said, hey, why don't I take a couple kids out hunting, and we'll kind of donate some of those little funds that we can raise through that to something that Mom might like. Thought about it, and we realized right off the bat it was going to be a lot bigger than we could handle. So I had heard about an organization called Catch a Dream, which you guys are probably familiar with. Mm-hmm. They send terminally ill kids on hunting and fishing trips, and I made a call to Dr. Marty Brunson, the head of Catch a Dream, and we hit it off right away, and I kind of laid this on him, and he didn't know Hunter and I, and of course he was very interested, when he heard about Nancy, and I gave him the background story there. And to make a long story short, we hooked up with Catch a Dream that first year. The first year we ended up having 80 kids. They brought in, 25, 30 turkeys. We raised a whole bunch of money, and we had a lot of enthusiasm in the area, and everybody came to us and said, hey, this is really a great thing that you're doing.
Yep.
We had it last year. We had 110 kids. They brought in 40 birds. We had 400 people attend the day of the lunch and the day of the event, and we raised over $50,000.
That's awesome.
So yeah, from there it's just snowballed. This year we anticipate it to be even better. And it is. It's without taking up a lot of time, it is a win-win because we're sending all these kids that really are less fortunate than us, obviously, and less fortunate than a lot of those kids that are hunting. We're sending them on lifetime adventures, which is a wonderful thing to do. We're also getting a bunch of young kids in our area out in the woods with their moms, their dads, their aunts, their uncles. And the other thing that I say, and I really sincerely mean this, even at a young age, when you see those kids that are hunting in Nancy's Vision, they are realizing that life is more about them, even at that young age. And they realize, even when they're little, that, you know what, I'm pretty fortunate, and I want to help kids that aren't quite as fortunate. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of getting that mindset even when they're little. So that makes us feel really, really good, This year we're doing a little something different. We're donating most of the proceeds to Catch a Dream, but we're starting to do a few things in our local area. We're giving a healthcare scholarship to one of the students at Forest City Regional. That's where Hunter went to school. So that's kind of exciting. We're all excited about that. And as the years go by, we're going to kind of do a few more things in the area. And one other thing that we're super excited about, Pennsylvania Game Commission has been great. They've been a great friend of Nancy's Vision and us. And they are going to help us next year try to get some areas throughout the state where they can host youth turkey hunts. Nice. And give some of those proceeds towards Nancy's Vision. So it's really taken off.
Yeah. Nice. And this is how many years?
This will be the third.
Third year, okay.
Third year.
And open invite, there's a registration?
There's a registration, yeah. The kids that hunt it, I'm glad you kind of brought that up. We don't provide any of the hunting lands. We don't provide any of that stuff. They all hunt on their own properties with their own families, and they come to the event and they register. Thanks for opening that up, because the registration and any donations or sponsorships are very easy to do. You would text the name Nancy to 91999. So if you do that, I would encourage everybody to do it just to see, because it'll open up that online platform. You can see some really great pictures. You can learn a little bit more about it. And even though you might not be in the northeastern Pennsylvania area, you will see that we're doing some really, really good things. And if you'd like to donate or like to sponsor, we certainly would appreciate that as well.
Yep. I'm not sure if this podcast will be out in time, but that is next weekend for you guys, correct?
That's next weekend, but there's always next year and the year after, so when you get the podcast out, yeah. And we also have a Facebook page, Nancy's Vision Youth Turkey Hunt on Facebook, if you want to follow us along on that. And you know, the more the merrier. The more people we can get involved in this, the better it's going to be. The more kids we can help. And as Hunter said, that's what my mom would have wanted. So.
Yeah. That's awesome. I love that you're doing that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I think that's going to wrap it up for us, guys. Thanks for hopping in, Jeff.
Well, thanks for having me. I appreciate it. I know I'm not quite, wasn't really an invited guest, so I hope
that
it
was
wasn't
awesome
bad.
to hear
No,
about.
crash.
Thank you.
All right.
You're good.
All right.
Thanks for hopping on, Hunter and Shea,
man.
and we'll see you guys later.
Take care,
See ya.
guys.
Appreciate
Peace.
it, man. Bye-bye.